Hey guys, what's up? Megan Lynn here, Spiritual Empress in the His House. How is everybody? It's a beautiful Wednesday today. My daughter's birthday is tomorrow, so I have to do a bunch of birthday stuff. And yeah, I'm like in bed right now. I'm freezing. So I decided to just say, F it. I'm gonna do it with my freaking sheet, my sweats, and my sweater on. So, um, I wanted to do a story time today. So I know that the title sounds kind of like whack. No, I don't. Just so you guys know, just to preface this whole fucking video. I don't do drugs. I don't, this is like back in the day kind of thing. It's just kind of a funny story. I wanted to talk a little bit about just like weed in general. There's so many different types, but I don't do drugs currently. I would never do this, being where I am in life, and at my age, I would never do this. But I thought it was just a funny story because I do get a lot of people who just, it's so hilarious, guys. It's like the second they find out that you're like intuitive or you have abilities or you're psychic, they always ask what you think about medical marijuana or weed or if you smoke or things like that, or if I believe that it opens you up or whatever. I can say, as far as smoking weed, there's different strains. That's also like a mindset too of like where your head's at as far as like opening you up like spiritually and like to the others. I can say for myself and my personal experience, yes, it does. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you a very good example, and this is a very good example of why I don't like to smoke pot. Like, I don't do it. I've had, like, a couple fun experiences, but then other ones either made me, like, really lazy or, shit like this story time happened to me. So, I'll just get right into it. So, the one time I smoked pot at work. So, I'll give you kind of a background about where I used to work at. So, I have like a ton of sales experience, you guys. And again, this was like a long time ago. I have a ton of sales experience. I'm not going to say the name of the company, obviously, even though I haven't worked for them in like forever. It's a reputation kind of thing. So I was working for this big company, right? I'm going to call it a call center. It really wasn't a call center. If any of you guys have seen like Wolf of Wall Street, that's what kind of job this was. Like, no joke. It was like hardcore like sales, hardcore dialing. So, essentially you did cold call and things like that. But you also had, like, I'm serious, dude. We'd have these, we call them spiffs. I don't know if you guys know what spiffs are in sales. So it would basically be like your manager yells out to your team, hey, whoever sets the most demos, which would be like appointments, within the next half an hour gets $300. And that's how like every day went. So like we loved going to work. Like I said, it was Wolf of Wall Street, though. It was very, like, hardcore sales. People would be, like, drinking at work. Like, we could drink on the clock. Like, it was crazy. We'd have, like, fresh food catered for us. They'd take us out. We'd always have, like, team builder events where they just, like, take you out and spend money. And, like, it's a ton of fun. It's really high pressure, though, but it's just, like, very high energy. And that's why I really am attracted to sales, is if they've got, like, a good culture, I'm going to work there. So they had great culture when it started. If you guys don't know about sales jobs, like, culture always dips, and that's usually when I leave. It has nothing to do really with evolving and growing, as sales always is, but like once culture's gone, I'm like out because there's no energy there anymore. So anyway, I was working for this big company. Like I said, Wolf of Wall Street, everything's really loud. We'd be drinking and dialing, like shit was crazy sometimes, but it was tons of fun. We all loved each other. We all got really close really fast. So time came when we had more teams come in. So we were actually one of the first teams. I'm not going to get too specific with this because I don't want to like anybody who may know this company. So other teams would come in and they would train. So time came like before we could expand, because when your company expands, usually if you guys have been in sales, you have to move to like bigger buildings or higher suites. The higher the suite, the more successful that company is, the more money that company makes. So we were in the process of just growing really quickly. So we had these other teams that came in to start to train and, learn our scripting, learn how to, sell our product. So those other teams came in. They did this really, really fast, though. They hired, like, a lot of training teams very fast. So what then happened is we had this, like, we were really, really spoiled because we were, like, one of the first teams. So we were, like, really spoiled. We had, like, freaking hydraulic desk that would come up and down. Like, it was freaking legit. So, you know, we ended up having to be, everything had to be condensed to where, you know, we could accommodate those like new teams that are coming in until our new building was ready, whatever. So, did the cat open the door? Tipsy. Sorry, my cat can open doors and I locked him up for a reason. Anyway, so we had these teams that were coming in, and they we had to be, basically the whole office had to be condensed. So on our team there's 12 of us. We were all really, really close, but there's always a couple like oddballs, like odd man outs kind of. We had a couple of those. One, we absolutely loved her, but she was very, very like hardcore. Like, you have those people in sales, guys, that just grind. For me, I'm not really a grinder. I'm more of like an opportunist and a self-prospector. So like for me, the grinding and the getting the most dials a day like just does not work for me. But this is exactly like who she was. She was just like there to work. She was very focused. She was, you know, not as much fun as the rest of us. She could let her hair loose, but like not as fun. So the time came when we all had to move into different like areas to start working. So what they were ending up doing was kind of separating our team a little bit. We were really upset about that. But they had to kind of move us into like different offices. So it was really, really isolated, you guys. But the time came when this girl was here. She decided that she was going to move into one office, and my manager, he was basically like he was my manager, but he was like my little brother to me. Like, we're all really tight. And so we're all trying to figure out who's going to like room with this girl. Well, everybody looks to me because everybody's like, you relate to everybody, you understand everybody, like, I cannot room with her. Like, nobody was going to like freaking step up to the plate basically and like room with her. And you know, and our manager was basically like, look guys, it's just gonna be for like 3 months till we get to the new building, like it's not a big deal. I'm like, look, I did not like the idea of an office. I do not like to feel isolated from people, or like feel like I'm in like a cage, anything like that. I do not like that. So I end up just stepping up to the plate, and I'm like, look, you guys, it's 3 months. I'll go ahead and I'll room with her. And honestly, it was serious drama because like nobody wanted to be in the room with her. So anyway, I end up getting set up in there. I can tell you that was probably one of the best 3 months like ever. It was really weird. We ended up getting really close, and like she was like the grinder and I was like the more fun one, but me and her really, really fed off of each other really well. And then she was also really into like my spiritual stuff, oddly enough. So we ended up getting really close. We were actually eventually, when we had to leave the office, we were actually really sad when we had to move out, because we were actually like really enjoying, we made it like very feng shui. It was very cute. So anyway, I'm rooming with this girl. I'll call her Marie, right? So I'm rooming with Marie, and we're working, and then a bunch of the other girls decide that they're going to go to, I'll call her Sarah. We're going to go to Sarah's house at lunch. So Sarah's like, everybody knows on the team. Well, and so like Marie's not coming, right? Maria's staying here. She's going to stay in the office. The other girls come up to me and ask me if I want to go to Sarah's house at lunch. And to me, I'm thinking like we're grabbing lunch. But like my girls are rowdy. Like every time we went on lunch, we would call each other, we were like ratchets. We go to lunch, we'd have drinks, we'd chill. We were like really loud. Like everybody knew us in a room. We're just like, most of my friends were really like, I wasn't as bad, but like they were obnoxious, but tons of fun. So he asked me if I wanted to go to Sarah's house on lunch. I'm like, I'm down, let's go, you know. So we end up, we all piled into her. What did she have? She had like a nice ass SUV. Can't remember what it was. She was very bougie. Like she was one of those girls that just like dropped money on the best shoes. Like she didn't go buy a pair of shoes. She went and bought 8 pairs of Nikes. Like she was crazy. But she was also known for being like a huge pothead, right? Everybody knew, like she'd come to work high. If you guys haven't, like, you know, there's always like in a call center or in any sort of like sales floor, there's always like those people who are like, who consistently smoke. That's why they kind of make like a joke of like drug testing us. They don't usually drug test at those companies. I'd be fine, but they usually don't, because they know that most salespeople do smoke. So Sarah was known for being a huge pothead. we all climb into her SUV, and we're going to her house for lunch. So we're all driving, we're being loud, we're listening to tunes, we get out of the car. So I thought we were actually gonna eat. That did not happen, because the car ride took, we had an hour lunch. The car ride took, Jesus, like I think 15 minutes to get to our, so we're already like fucking, that pisses me off on my lunch when it takes me like 15 minutes to get to the food, and then it takes you like 20 minutes to get the food, and then it's gonna take you 15 minutes to get back, right? So we had gotten there, and I'm like, well, screw it, like, I thought maybe there was gonna be something to eat there. So we go in, and I sit down on the couch, and then the doorbell rings. So like everybody else is in like the kitchen area with like Sarah, and I'm just chilling there with like one of the other girls. We're just sitting on the couch, just bullshitting, and the doorbell rings. So I asked Sarah, I was like, hey, do you want me to like get that? Because I was like right by the front door. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll be there in a minute, just let him in. So I go and I open the door, and there's this guy there, like he's clearly like surprised to see me, and I'm like, hi, who, come on in, I guess, like a stranger guy, whatever. And so he comes in, and it was very apparent he was very surprised too. Like he could hear the girls in the kitchen. He saw us sitting down in the living room. Like he was very surprised, right? That we were there. So like we weren't supposed to be there or something. So Sarah and the other girls end up coming out of the kitchen, and they have this huge ass bong. So if you guys aren't familiar with bongs, pretty sure you all are. I do not see the need for a bong. Like, they've got vape pen, like they have so much stuff right now. To me, bongs are for like serious smokers who like want to get faded and like sit on the couch all day and just get like messed up, right? So she comes out with this huge ass bong. Now me, it's not like so much like a peer pressure thing, but we all kind of fed off of each other's energy, right? So they're like, yeah, we're gonna get high, like, do you want to take a hit, right? So they're taking these huge ass hits. I'm like sitting there like, oh my god, this dude that came there to buy weed from her. That's why he was so confused that we were there. And clearly it was, I ended up figuring it out. It happened to be your ex-boyfriend. So he was clearly there to like hook up or something. Like that's why he was so like, he was kind of like, I think kind of irritated we were there, because he ended up leaving like after everybody got high. He ended up leaving when we had to leave. But yeah, he was obviously like confused and irritated. He expected something. I don't know. So anyway, we are, we're in the living room. Everybody's taking these huge ass hits. Now my friends are already obnoxious, so this is just gonna make them be more obnoxious. So I was just like, F it, I'll have one too. But for me, I took like a little one. Like it was like this little hit. It was nothing like them. Like they're freaking crazy, right? Well, Sarah also, I'm not gonna say what she does, but she may or may not have certain clients that she passes around certain substances to, and she happens to make money doing it. So she ends up she sort of deals, right? So anyway, she sort of deals, and so she has like tons of stuff. So the girls were already like wanting to dabble in other stuff. I'm like, done, I'm good, I'm out, whatever. I had already had a hit, right? So this stuff that she has is like really good shit. Like it's really strong, right? So I'm glad I only took what I took. So it only took probably a couple minutes for it to actually like hit me. Once that started to hit me, I got really, really paranoid about the time. I was like walking back and forth from the living room to the kitchen, checking the clock like every minute. I was freaking out, like, guys, we gotta go, we're gonna be late, like we have to go, we gotta get back to work, like whatever. I was like freaking out. Everybody's thinking I'm hilarious at this point. They're like, Megan, chill. And I was like, no, you guys are like too chill. So I was getting that kind of like paranoid high. I was like, we got to go back to work, whatever. And then we got in the car, right? So everybody gets in the car. It's still it's starting to sink in. Like it's still hitting me. And everybody's looking at me like, oh shit. It's like really hitting Megan, because Megan's not I would socially smoke occasionally with them, but I was not a smoker. Like if you ever tested me, I'd pass, like whatever. So we get back in the SUV, we're driving back. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know how I'm gonna keep this shit together. Like this is not cool. Like I have to go back to work. And then the only thing that gave me like solace is like I can basically just not say anything, go straight to my desk. And the cool thing is that I happen to be in an office with Marie, right? So I work in an office with Marie. So I can close the door. We would always have the lights out because we like to work in the dark. I'm like, perfect, let's go. So we get out of the car. I get out of the SUV. I'm walking into work. So what we decided to do was there's like a main way that you can go in, which is like it's very bougie. It's very nice. It's very like fancy. It's like a lot of big companies are in there, or there's like a back way you can go. So we decided we were just gonna go in the back way because our building, our office was on our sales floor was on the first floor. So we went through the back way. I'm like, great, we'll just go through the back way. Went through the back door. Of course, everybody knows me there, so everybody's saying hi. I'm trying to act like a freaking human, but like I'm clearly not, right? I'm like, Megan, just keep walking and don't say anything to anybody, which is weird for me anyway, which already looks off, and then just go straight to your office, right? So I just walk, go straight to my office, and then my office, so I just close the door. Marie's already at her desk because she'll go grab her food, and then like she's one of those girls that like eats at her desk and like doesn't take a break because she's like a really good worker. I don't know. So anyway, she's like already at her desk. So I have like this window on either side of my doors that I can like peer out and see like the rest of the sales floor. So I can like see everybody, right? I'm like looking at them. Now, Sarah's always high, so she looks at me and she's like, yeah, you know, being like a freaking nerd. The rest of them are like just kind of keeping their heads down, whatever. And then there was another one who she was high all the time too, and so that's just how she like always acted. So they were like fine. I was like in there. Now the second I had gotten to the sales floor, this is why I don't smoke weed, guys. Everything around me, I can only explain it and I can almost hear it, was vibrating, right? So I'm walking in, as I was walking into the sales office and going into my office, everything was like, boo, 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 boo. Like that's all I could hear, right? And so I literally was like, this is not good. Like whatever this is not good. And I just had this vibrating and it would not stop. And I've only had a couple like really, really spiritual experiences, and that's like, that vibrating is kind of like an oppressive, either you have to do something or it's kind of like an oppressive feeling, like is like a spiritual kind of beat down. I don't like this vibrational feeling, whatever. So I go into the office, I'm sitting there and the vibrating's continuing. Now, everybody knows Megan. Megan is bubbly. She says hi to everybody. If she doesn't know you, she's gonna know you. She's gonna go introduce herself to you. She's gonna figure out what you're all about because she's very nosy, so whatever. So I'm sitting there quietly. Marie, in like maybe 30 seconds, notices that I am not myself. I'm sitting at my desk and this vibrating is just going on and on and on and on and on, and I cannot figure what it is. It's almost incapacitated me to a way like I couldn't do anything. I was not talking, and Marie in like maybe 30 seconds goes, hey, you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. And then she said, okay, you know, and she goes, puts her headset on, and she goes back to dialing. Well, maybe like another 30 seconds goes by, and then she looks at me and she goes, Megan, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. And she was like, no, seriously, like you're quiet. Like, what? See, this is how loud I am. You guys don't know me in like real life, but like if I'm quiet, something's fucking wrong. So she goes, no, you're quiet. Like, what's going on? I was like, well, we went to Sarah's house. And she goes, oh boy. I said, we all took a hit. I said, I just took a little one, just one little hit. And I said, now I'm like completely open. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I said, there's this like vibrating. I said, and I can't do anything. I don't know what it is. And it was so weird because in that moment, because she said something, she was like currently like dating. She was trying to find a guy. I felt like she was on one of those apps, like, what was she on? Bumble. And she goes, oh God, because she knew my spiritual stuff. And I said, I don't know what this is. I can't do anything till this energy gets released. I do not know what it is. And so she said, I said, just start talking. And she goes, okay, well, you know, she goes, you know, I'm on this Bumble app now. And I was like, okay. And then it clicked in my head that I took that hit at lunch specifically to give a reading for her because she needed a reading for something. And so I said, hold on a second. And then she goes, what? She goes, what? She's all like startled. And I said, Bumble. And she goes, yeah. And I said, this is why I took the hit at lunch. And she goes, what? And I said, because I was supposed to specifically be here, this open, in this room with you to give you some sort of message. And I was like, and this will not stop until we've talked enough about it, until I've given you enough of a reading. She's like, what? And I said, so keep talking about Bumble. So she starts talking about Bumble, right? She's talking about this guy, you know, she's swiping, she's explaining it to me, whatever. Bumble's a really weird app if you guys go on it. It's like weird. It's about women empowerment. I don't know. Anyway, so she's like talking about Bumble. I proceed to give her the next 2 hours of our work time reading. Now, this vibrating only started to go away as we kept talking. She kept asking me questions. She asked questions about her family. She asked questions about, like, you know, when's she gonna meet a guy? You know, this, like, literally freaking everything tutti for 2 freaking hours till this vibration. Because I was, like, freaking out when I sat down at my desk. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna, like, drive home. Like, I have a commute. Like, this is, you know, I need to drink a lot of water or whatever. I proceed to give her, like, the longest reading. And the funny thing is, like, I knew that I was there for that purpose, to conduit that for her. But, and the funny thing is my reading was really accurate. I told her she would meet somebody by the end of the year, and she met somebody on New Year's Eve. It was really creepy. She was freaked out. The very last day of the year. But yeah, so she ended up getting this, like, really amazing reading. As I finished the reading, I said, okay, we're done now. And she goes, okay. And she goes, you feel better? And I said, yeah. I said, it's past now, because I had to get all this energy, all these questions, like, she needed answered. I had to get them all out before this vibrating would stop. And I actually came completely normal. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't affected anymore by it. So that's kind of, I mean, as far as people wanting to know if it spiritually opens you up, I can say for me, I mean, I think a few times after that. And, like, my ex was a huge pothead, so that really, like, turned me off to it. It doesn't make it fun, like, when they're doing it all the time. I don't like it. But it's just funny because, you know, people ask me all the time if it opens you up spiritually. I think for a lot of people it does. I'm an air sign, though, and I find it's really beneficial for people who have anger issues. A lot of people with a lot of fire energy, they can usually, like, smoke and be like normal people. Air signs are more prone to, like, smoking themselves dumb. I've had a lot of friends, like Aquariuses and Libras, who, like, started smoking in high school, and they're, like, very much not bright anymore. And I know a lot about that stuff. Like, really, you shouldn't be smoking. Like, for anybody who is, like, watching this, who's, like, in high school, you should not be smoking before a certain age. Some people's frontal lobes do not form till they're, like, 18. So make sure you have frontal lobes. And the way you can tell that you have frontal lobes is that you can do, like, high-level algebra. Like, that's the only way. But, yeah, I had a lot of air sign friends. Just kind of, they're very much like that 70s show kind of person that's like, yeah, man, yeah, dude. And it's just, like, not fun to be around. So, yeah, I do believe that it opens you up spiritually. I also believe that if you're also, you know, spiritually open, or if you're also, you know, prone to having experiences or having abilities, it will make you have more. I can say for me, if I did smoke pot, it just makes me want to read everybody in the room. It draws me to somebody, or draws somebody to me, and then I end up doing some sort of reading, and it kind of, like, really controls whatever my actions are in the moment. So I really don't do that too much anymore. Or not too much anymore. I don't smoke anymore, but I mean, like, yeah, it's honestly not fun for me. It's like work. So yeah, not a pot smoker. It doesn't really do much for me, but that's one of my experiences of when I got high at work. Never again. I mean, obviously, but, like, I mean, I never did again, but, like, yeah, that really, really was kind of, like, traumatic. That was, you know, and I don't know if any of you have ever done that before, but, like, going to work high when you don't normally smoke and trying to pretend that you're high is, like, the scariest shit ever. So, Yeah, anyway, I know this one was kind of long, and I'm sorry I'm a little bit of a rambler. If you guys have any questions about, like, if it spiritually opens you or what you can experience, that's really up to you guys and your journey and how psychically open your eye is, but mine's very open, so for me, it's honestly, it's not fun. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, likes, shares, anything like that, let me know what you guys want to hear about. I'm just going to be doing more story times too, because those are just like, I have a lot of weird shit that I've done and dabbled in, and I have a lot of life experience I'll be 31 next week? Soon. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to my birthday. So, yeah, if you guys want to hear about specific things, please comment below. I want to hear what you guys, or I want to talk about what you guys want to hear about. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll talk soon. Bye.